All right, motherfucks, it's your boy the hater. A lot of people had requests for me to make this video. You know what I'm saying? This video will be talking about the recent trend, and when I say recent, I mean the last, let's say, 5-6 years. Recent trend of anti-police sentiment. Let me close my damn door, motherfucks, so I can listen to myself talk quietly. Build barn doors, installed them myself. Deal with it, cucks. So, anyways, in the context of what's been happening recently, right? A lot of people have been talking about changing the way policing is done. You know, now personally, I see the point. I see the argument of like, yo, let's reevaluate how we police shit. Fine, let's reevaluate it. But the question becomes, who are you gonna ask? Whose opinion are you gonna take into consideration, right? Because when you say let's restructure something, you have to have a plan, right? And when you have a plan, I need to know, number one, obviously, what your plan is, and two, what credentials you have to propose this plan. Now, if the plan is very commonsensical and has good approaches, then sure. But if reasonable people disagree on the plan, we have to look, unfortunately, one of the few times, we have to look at someone's credentials, right? Because a plan designed by like a PhD criminologist who used to be a undercover cop, let's say, is completely different than a plan designed by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or like LeBron James or any other liberal, basically, who's never held a gun, who's never been in a fight really, who had their life experience is completely different than that of a cop, right? This is why I personally believe that nobody should be allowed to be president unless they're a combat veteran. Simple as that, motherfucks. If you don't know what it's like to go to war, I don't want you making decisions about war. You can't appreciate that shit. You don't understand. It's all theory to you. It's like playing a game of Risk. You know, you play Risk, and then you're like, I want to be president. Now we're going to go to war. You don't know anything about war, sissy. You don't know anything about that. Same thing. Cops, police departments, right? Highly trained criminology people that are also cops. Cops with knowledge and education, basically, are the ones who should be reshaping the police. Not Congress people. Not Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who's a shitty congressperson, and then before that was a bartender. This girl has no idea. She's never done any kind of policing in her life. You know what I'm saying? And during the Capitol riots, she outlined how she went into the one office and hid until the cops came to save her. You don't know anything about policing. You're not a badass. Badasses are the ones that should be making badass decisions. You know what I'm saying? Not sissies, right? Not sissies who are out there just telling badasses how to live, because the society that we've constructed now prioritizes intelligence over things like bravery and toughness and physicality, right? Unless you know what you're talking about, I don't want to hear it, motherfucks. I want brave people telling me how brave people should act. I don't want sissies telling me how brave people should act. Now, with that being said, we have a case before us, right? Right after the George Floyd case ended, we had this other girl who unfortunately was shot by a policeman, right? This girl is 16 years old, so this is obviously a huge tragedy. It's very sad that this 16-year-old had to be shot by a cop. But just because it's sad doesn't mean that it was not necessary, right? Justice is justice, all right? It's very important to understand the definitions of words before they change it on us. Justice has nothing to do, motherfucks, nothing to do at all with a lack of violence. Sometimes you need violence to exact justice. Here's an example right before us, this girl, right? Here's another example. Say someone decides to go to the mall and start shooting motherfucks randomly. And say we have, I don't know, a Navy SEAL at the mall buying shoes. The Navy SEAL sees the person trying to shoot people, pulls out his 9, and puts 3 in the guy's chest, right? That's violence, but that's justice, because you don't get to kill random people for no reason. But the guy, to save himself and others, has the right to kill you. We understand this as an example of justice. This is no different in this case. From a legal perspective, motherfucks, right? From a legal perspective, because as you guys know, I know quite a bit about the law, having been to law school myself. The cop is obviously justified in doing this because this falls under, strangely enough, self-defense. And here's why. Self-defense allows you to defend yourself as well as others, right? You are allowed to defend other people who are in imminent harm of either death, basically. Imminent harm. Basically, if someone's about to get killed or about to seriously get hurt, right? You have the right, the legal right, not just cops, but people. You have the legal right to defend the person. So if I had a gun and I shot this girl, that would be fine too. You understand what I'm saying? You don't have to be a cop to do this. Now, obviously, cops are agents of the government. They are agents of society, and they are there to do these types of things. That's literally the job of the cop, is to protect and serve, right? He protected the girl that was about to get killed. Now, he had to kill someone else to do it. Very unfortunate, especially considering that she's 16. But it's like this, motherfucks. We don't have time, right? We don't have time to mourn people. Straight up, I'm going to say it. We don't have time to mourn people that are trying to hurt other people, especially when said mourning, right, comes on the back of demonizing the person in this case who is obviously a hero. This cop should get a pay raise, he should meet the mayor, get a medal, and should be a hero for a couple of weeks. But the exact opposite is happening because the narrative has turned into a very anti-police narrative. Now, ask yourself this, motherfucks, right? The LeBron Jameses, the Alexandra Ocasio-Cortezes of the world, basically all these sissies, these people that really don't have any problems, right? Ask yourself, motherfucks, because everyone tells us, well, what if it was you who got shot? What if it was you that was the girl that's about to get stabbed, motherfucks? Then what, right? What would you want the cop to do? Would anyone want the cop to let someone shoot them? Or would they say, hey, cop, can you please shoot the person that's about to stab me? I, for one, I'm going to be honest, I'd be like, yo, someone's trying to stab me? I hope 10 cops shoot them. I hope they empty their fucking clips in this bitch. Straight up, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not dying because someone wants to kill me, motherfucks, especially when there's cops around. I want the cops to protect me. And every person in the world, every person that's ever breathed would agree with me. People are disingenuous. Some people might be like, well, I would take my chances. Horseshit. Then you're a retard. You know what I'm saying? I'm not letting someone stab me. No. Kill them before they stab me. That's the entire premise of the police. It's like that quote by Orwell or Churchill, depending on whom it is attributed to, because it's attributed to both, right? That basically says, people are safe because at night, violent men are willing to enact violence on your behalf. That's what society is, right? The sissies, all of us basically, go to bed at night, and we understand implicitly that we are allowed to sleep right now because there's people out there stopping bad shit from happening to us. You understand what I'm saying? If you live in a cul-de-sac and I decide to run up to your house and burglarize you, right? I might not do it because there's a cop waiting outside or the possibility of someone hearing me and calling the cops, right? I know that if I burglarize you, there are consequences, right? So I don't do it, let's say, right? Now, I've never stolen anything in my life, so I'm not a good example, but you understand what I'm saying. So that's kind of how it works, right? Cops, the fear of cops is what prevents criminals from acting like criminals. You know what I mean? Or even prevents good people from turning into criminals. Because shit's hard out there sometimes, motherfucks. LeBron doesn't know about that because he was a millionaire when he was 18. He doesn't know hardship, right? Oh, I slept on a mattress, or like Kevin Durant said, like, oh, we were poor when I was growing up. Dude, you became rich at 18. It's like that Justin Bieber movie where he was like, never say never. Dude, you were famous at 13. What do you know about never say never? What? Someone told you suck and you didn't quit immediately? You were 14 when you made it big, cuck. You know what I'm saying? And I like Justin Bieber. I even like LeBron for the most part. But I don't like this kind of mentality, right? This anti-cop mentality. There are people out there that are, in my opinion, underpaid, that put their lives on the line. So sissies that pretty much do nothing, right, can go around and do their nothing, do their horseshit, right? So people like me, who primarily does things like editing and legal stuff, right? I don't do anything that's like, holy shit, like without me, the world would end. I don't, right? And I'm doing just fine. But these cops should be getting way fatter paid because they're out there putting their lives on the line. And that's how you fix the police and these problems, right? You vet the police force, right, more thoroughly so you get fewer bad cops, and then you pay policemen more so you attract more applicants, right? So now, let's say that 20%, I'm just throwing a number out there, let's say that 20% of cops are not fit to be cops, right? If you increase, I don't know, the fucking salary, right? Increase the salary, you now attract, let's say, 5 times more applicants. And out of that 5 times, maybe now 30% aren't fit to be cops. But if you vet that 30% out, you still have enough people to get a police force that is 100% competent, right? Or 100% good at their job, like this guy was, right? That's how it works, cuckolds. That's how it works, But people on the other side of the aisle, that's one argument. The other argument is let's defund the police and let's rethink about, what's it called? How policing works. Hey, I'm cool with that too, motherfucks. I believe it's important to go back once in a while and be like, ah, this works, this doesn't, right? But who's going to make those decisions? I sure as shit am not comfortable with some 75-year-old congressperson making these decisions. Unless you've held a gun, unless you've been in danger, unless you've been in trouble, I'd rather have a criminal do it than have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or LeBron do it. A criminal that's reformed, I mean. I'd rather have someone that's been to prison, that's been arrested, give me their insight on how it should work versus LeBron. Like, the fuck? Who the fuck gives a shit about these people, Bunch of jabrones. Nobody gives a fuck about your opinion. Oh, I think we should do it like this. That's why you get all these motherfucks all over, like, Facebook and shit. It's all these people. It's like some fat dude who's like, well, if I were the cop, I would have put her in a rear naked choke. You wouldn't do shit. You'd probably get killed by this broad because you look like a bitch to me, right? This cop did the best he could, He said, stop, stop, stop. Like, the amount of balls that you need to, when a cop tells you to stop and you lunge at someone with a knife, are you fucking kidding me? If it was me, I would have emptied my clip into this broad, straight up. And again, I don't want to downplay the tragedy of this 16-year-old girl getting killed, It's really bad. She's 16. It breaks my heart, motherfuckers. It really does. Because she's a young kid, Like, they could have arrested her, put her in juvie for like 2-3 years maybe, right? Depending on how much of a 16-year-old she is, right? Like if she's like 16 exactly, 2 years. If she's like almost 16, because I've read somewhere that she was 15, then 3 years, until she's 18, maybe a little bit longer than that, for attempted murder, right? And hopefully in those years you can like reach them and be like, yo man, like, you fucked up, don't do this again, Give them a second chance. I believe in second chances. I even believe in third chances. But I also believe in no second chances in certain circumstances, motherfuckers, like when you're about to shoot somebody, The only person whose opinion should matter on this is the girl that nearly got killed. Ask her what she thinks. I would suspect that she believes the cop saved her life. And if she says anything contrary to that, then she can go fuck herself too, because this is just common sense. The cop did exactly what I would have wanted him to do. Like, for example, in the George Floyd case, right? If I were there, right? I'm not saying I'd be a hero and I would tackle Derek Chauvin, probably not, let's be honest. But I would not like what he did. I would be like, dude, stop doing that, right? Like, just like the other people were saying, like, don't do that, stop doing that, right? Like, I could look at that and be like, this is not how I would behave. If I were a cop, I would not treat someone like that. I would not, like, keep my knee on their neck or their back or whatever, like minutes after they stop responding. You know what I mean? I wouldn't do that. I personally wouldn't do that. But in this case, I would do exactly what this cop did, except I don't know how many times he shot her, but I would have emptied my clip. I would have emptied it, And not because, like, just to make sure that she's dead, but just because it's this idea of, like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? You're not going to listen to me. You're not going to listen to reason. And you expect me to just sit here and wait while you stab someone? Like I said, motherfucks, I want to hear what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I'm using her as an example because she sucks, but LeBron James and all these other people that actually have spoken about this, I want to hear what they have to say, motherfucks. Like, what they would want done by a policeman if they were the victim. Like, if, I don't know, if some, giant man, if, like, I don't know, let's say, like Brock Lesnar tried to stab LeBron, right? He's stronger than LeBron, so he could kill him easily. If Brock Lesnar tried to stab LeBron, and LeBron is not, like, bigger than him, so you can't really, like, stop him, right? Would LeBron want a cop to shoot Brock Lesnar? Of course he would, motherfucks. Of course he would. And this idea that the police have to become Brock Lesnar themselves, like a cop has to tackle this girl, risk getting stabbed himself, risk, like, anything else happening? No, he has to neutralize the threat because there's a possibility that he tackles her, she stabs him in the eye, pulls out the knife, and there goes on a stabbing rampage. Ain't nobody got time for that, motherfucks. No, what should happen is exactly what happened. But it's still a tragedy. It's still a tragedy, You don't go around, motherfucks. You don't go around trying to stab people, right? You do that, you face the consequences. As a good friend of mine says, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, motherfucks, and that's what happens. You know what I'm saying? Again, this girl's young, and it's horrible that she's dead because she doesn't understand yet because she's too small, right? She's too young. She doesn't understand the consequences of some actions, right? And that's why when children do certain things, the consequences are substantially lesser. But, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And this cop, in my opinion, should be hailed as a national hero. This cop should face absolutely no protest from everyone. This cop, especially in the wake of Derek Chauvin, this cop and George Floyd, this cop should be used as an example of when it is appropriate to use police force. Like, you've made, the world has decided that Derek Chauvin is now the poster boy for when it is not okay to use police violence, right? Or what kind of police violence to not use. This guy, whatever the fuck his name is, should be the counterexample of when it is appropriate. Like, in this situation, you have to do it. So he did it, right? That should be the narrative. The narrative shouldn't be, he's a cop, the victim's black, therefore, we ignore the rest of the facts and we parallel it completely to George Floyd and Derek Chauvin, right? That's what it is. That's what's happening, right? It's like white cop shot black person. That's all you need to know about this case. If you watch CNN, that's all you need to know. You need to know that the person that shot someone was a cop and the victim was black. You don't need to worry about the rest of the case because that involves too much critical thinking. And the majority of us employ basically zero critical thinking in our lives. So it is what it is, cuck boys. And with that being said, go fuck yourselves.